We are back and we are dry. So now we're going to make our grey-blue wash for across here and down there. And we'll see how it goes with the rest up there. So let's make our grey-blue wash. More water. This needs to be really washy. I think we're going to make a tiny bit more up. Pop you there. Drop. So we're going to want enough to make sure we've got 2 layers at least out of this in case we need them. We can use that black that's there and the blue that's already there. So break this all down. And the blue, and the blue in there. Water. Right, so I think with a wet brush we're going to have what we want there. Right, we are going to brave it. Make this brush really wet though. Okay, here we go. I think it's blue enough for us to be able to go right across the board. Let's go for some more. With the brush. Make sure we did actually touch the water because it's quite far down. Yeah. Okay. We have a hair trying to steal the limelight. Smooth everything off. Right, we're going to let that dry. See how it looks. It's definitely going to need more than one layer. So it just wants to separate down there. But on the plus side, we can bring it all the way across without it interfering. So we've got to let that dry. This is definitely, like I say, at the moment, going to require way more than one. So back to the drying phase. This is going to take, oh dear, this is going to take a couple hours at least, as it's so wet. Get everything covered there. So, not quite there just yet. Clearly needs more than one layer. That's okay. So, back again in a little bit for you. Off I pop again. Get a cup of tea. Get some other things prepared. And yeah, when I come back, hopefully that will be dry. It will. It's just going to take a couple of hours at least. Let's leave that right there for now. So yeah, see you again in a little bit. Okay, we are back. That is dry. Let's make another wash and try our best to get this looking a bit smoother because it's rather bubbly and lumpy at the moment. So white, I want to make a substantial wash. Tiny bit of black. Put in there. And a tiny bit of blue. Back in there. Right, let's get this wash made. Let's give ourselves a bit of a watery head start. Break everything down. Blue to that, not so much. And water it down even more. Right, let's try that. It's a little bit paler than the last one, but that can be forgiven as we're building up layers at the moment. Nice wet brush. Let's see what we got. Right the way across. We'll just wet up here. I'm going to be using the brush to take some of this back here because we don't need that. I want a nice wet, well, damp, clean brush for that. So we can lift off some of that grey seeping in over here. Okay, this still needs to be built up. We're getting something we want there, but it's trying to get it to come all the way across here without it looking all granular. It's going to be hard to build that up. Smoothly. That from under there for sure. Right, I think we'll need to let this dry again and see how we can get this to work in our favour, because at the moment something's a bit off. As you can see up there, we're not quite getting the coverage that we want, and we're getting a bit of a run from the other colours here, and we don't want that either. So we're going to let this dry fully, come back to it tomorrow, and it's had all night to dry all the way through, and have a look at what we can do to get this to work for us. So at the moment it's not quite working for us. We'll definitely need clean water, clean brushes, clean everything. Probably even a clean palette at this point, we'll see. But we'll let that dry and see what we've got going on here. So yeah, another just little section. We had some mini trials and tribulations in between this. I checked back on the camcorder how it was going, and it just told me file error. So I had to quickly take everything apart, dash upstairs, hook it up to the laptop. Everything was fine. It's just the camera teasing me, playing god awful games. Right, we are gonna let that dry. Try again. Yeah, I thought so. Some of the colour from beneath is getting caught up in everything, so we're going to have to just let that dry completely and then reassess it tomorrow. So at the moment we're getting the effect we want, but we're not at the same time. It's just looking like a mucky wall. It's not looking like it's part of the background. So definitely going to reassess that, even if it means masking the area around temporarily to try and get it to all stay in here and dragging it clean from one side. We'll have to see. So where it's pooled correctly, it's looking fine. Where it's not, it's looking streaky as hell. So we'll come back to that tomorrow. So me and my creaky chair are gonna go. We'll see you in but a moment. Okay, we are back. I have left this all weekend to dry thoroughly before we try and redeem this little section down here, because that is not what we're looking for. Doesn't look too bad up there staring at the tiny little screen. bit is streaky. We don't want that. It's not completely covered. We want to get this all over. And we definitely went too soon, because you can see where some of that grey was lifted off the bottom edge here. So we're going to try and make this colour a little bit thicker, and we might try and apply with a smaller brush. So it might just be a case of this one's too thick for the job. So let's make up this grey blue and get a little bit of the white, a fair bit of the white. A little blue over there still. Not in any untouched form. So let's put a tiny dot of blue. I think the black is still okay to use. Put a tiny dot of blue over here. So let's try and mix it up first. Tiny dot of the blue. Definitely water. Whoa, creaky chair. You can tell I haven't sat on it all weekend. Sounds like it's rusted up. Right, we're going to want it a tiny bit more blue than that. And a bit more fluid than that. Again, tiny bit more blue. Okay, we are getting there. Now we just need to get it to the consistency where it's semi-transparent. The wash might have been too much for such a refined area. I want it to run a little bit more smoothly. Let's see what we can do with this. It might even be, even though it's very, very small. Where's that little? I think it was you. I don't have you out already. Oh yeah. Is that down? I can't really see. It definitely wasn't you. It was a flathead. Let's try and get this out. Knocking everything down. Ideally we want flat and soft. I'm quite sure it was you. If only I had this and it weren't a quart or an inch. If it were an inch, that'd be perfect. You're far too... See, you're soft enough. I don't know. I think this is going to be a tiny bit more trial and error down this corner here. Oh, just far too stiff. Soft enough but not big enough. Let's try this one and see if we're all good. Right, let's have a look. Let's give that a go. Let's try starting from the bottom. This might be the one. Get everything in place. This might be the one. Let's try. So we're going to do a little touch-up work on the background. So it took some of the tip of the green away, which isn't wholly a bad thing, but it's not what I want. We don't want any hairs creeping in, if we can help it. So let's see where we can take this. Bring this round. Get a nice flat edge. This is definitely closer to what we want. This is already so much better. We got a little bit impatient applying those washes far too soon, and not with the right brush. This is definitely better. I think what we'll do is we'll let this dry enough for us to touch this up again. And then we're going to let it dry probably overnight again. Make sure we don't make the same mistake. So I don't think we'll need another layer of this. I think what we'll do then, we'll let this dry enough to paint this and repaint this, then we'll go maybe even this again, because this one's getting really washed out down the bottom here. And then we'll go over at least the bottom half with a blue wash again, maybe all the way up. is definitely more the tone and the colour that we were after. I think, try to make sure that I'm putting too much pressure on the brush, not leaving too many streaks behind, keeping it as even as possible. This is better, much better. Right, I think we are going to let it dry there. Completely. Managed to pull another streak in. I'm not going to touch it anymore. Gonna let that dry. Enough. Let's say that we can let dry enough before we put that back in, which luckily I've still got there, courtesy of the cling film. That, well, we'll cover that up for the time being, because we're definitely not done with it. That side. But it won't have much life left in it. I've kept it going for over a week now. But it does also show you how good a job the cling film does, even when it's not sealed over there properly. Does preserve it for quite a while. So yeah, another break. But before, like I say, before we go on a break, we're going to assess where we're at. And this is starting to come together more, because this was somewhat of an eyesore over the weekend. Each time I walk past it, it's like I really want to do something to that. I want to fix it. I had to let it dry properly, otherwise I just kept doing the same thing, dragging more wet paint over, not dry to the touch, but not dry enough if you put something wet on top. Because where I tried to bring that wash up here a little bit, it dragged some of the eggshell up into the sky here, and we don't want that. So that's why we're going to give it another blue wash at the end. But in our reassessment of where we're at, we're going to let the building dry, then we're going to re-put in this grey piece up here, tidy again. I think I've also got the green I have, so we're going to re-green this, maybe re-green that, but we'll see, because the top of the skyline is absolutely fine. That is fine up there. It's down here where I don't want that there. So we're definitely going to be washing up to that point, but it's going to be in the blue wash. So hopefully that won't interfere with this, or we might just very carefully go around that so as not to trifle this again. Maybe across the top there to take that back a notch. But this has already got enough of a blue hue to it to suggest that it's dark, and enough of the eggshell just about showing through beneath that you know it's not white. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Our renewed bit. We might, because it's hard to judge how long all these little clips have been, because it's been do a piece, stop, break, do a piece, stop, break. So I might, well, when we come back and touch that piece up, we'll decide then whether anything after painting this piece in and this piece is going to be part 2, or if we're going to press on, try and get this background done, and then start part 2 with the original plan of whitening the cats, whitening the moon. So we'll make that decision when we come back and paint these bits in, the bush and the rooftop. So yes, pause again. Let that dry. I'll let that dry enough for this, and then it'll definitely be overnight at least, 24 hours at least, before we consider doing any more washes over the top. It might even be longer than that, it depends. Depends how thick all of this ends up being. At the moment, it's all nice and smooth. You barely feel, is it not doing that bit? That's even smooth enough to get away with another layer before anything's going to start to affect a complete wash. So yes, we'll call that for now. We'll come back, or I'll come back in about an hour or two, because this is already starting to dry out, to touch this bit up and touch this bit up, and then leave it for 24 hours after that point, and also make the decision as to what we're going to consider part 2, end of part 1, beginning of part 2. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to go and find something else to do, because this doesn't have to lay flat for a change to dry. I can pop it up on the radiator behind me. So I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we are back, and that is dry enough for us to put that back in. So let's do that. And the green. I think this one can be washed, because it's, by the time we get to all the other bits, it's going to be long since done for. So let's get this put back in. Straight edge back again. We didn't mind the odd little lump and bump. We don't mind if it's a little hazy in parts, we just want the bulk to be good again, so we've got our bring that down a little bit. Much better. Redefine that edge a tiny bit. Oh, here. So we don't want it being a little bit hazed around the edge. Once more, we definitely don't need, oh yes, we need the green. This green. this hasn't got to be too perfect. We've already done it once. And we are taking a wash back over the top of this. Just to bring it forward again. So we've definitely got washed out a touch. Okay, I think that is that. That can be left to dry. Maybe with this one, let's just bring this leaf back forward because it's gone a little bit off in the distance. A little bit too off in the distance. We do need a small brush for that. Bring it back forwards a little bit because it's gone. So washed down you can barely see it. That's better. Same for some of these up here. Just a little bit. Not completely, just almost like highlights. Okay, so that's going to be left at least 24 hours before we do anything else to it, so as not to repeat the mistakes. Okay, the leaves are brought into the forefront a tiny bit more again. The bush is looking like it should. And the building is looking like it should. So yeah, we're going to leave that to dry, like I say, for at least 24 hours before we do anything else to that. So I'm going to clean these up because there's not a whole lot. I'm not going to be able to keep these alive for much longer. It's a shame about that green, it's really nice, but we don't need it for anything else. Anything else that I'm doing next either. So yeah, I'm going to have a clean up, let this dry. It has been another 24 hours to let this dry completely, and it is a good colour. Now we are going to be brave and try and apply a wash again. I don't know if we're going to wash over this or just keep it to here, here and all across there, because it's just going to be a blue wash. This is actually quite a good colour as it is. My only concern with running a wash over this, as from the, in part one you saw, is This took a few layers of wash to get it to that right colour. I don't need to do that many washes, and it might end up somewhat patchy. So we're going to make our blue wash up, and we're going to come all the way down and down here, across there and down here, and see how it looks. If this looks so out of place, we'll wash right over. So that's going to be the game plan. And we're just going to go for blue. So let's get a fair whack. From what I remember, we needed quite a bit. And let's wet this up. Again, quite a bit. So I'm going to break it down so we don't have any pigment dots invade. So we need this to be very watery. Very fluid. So it pretty much fills that whole centerpiece to the brim. And we will be applying it with a wet brush. And hopefully, well, we know the sky is going to be fine. We know the tree and the bush is going to be fine. We'll just have to see what happens with the building. The building was giving us jip. Needs to be more watery yet, but still a bit too rich, a bit too concentrated still. I think we're getting there. That teamed with a wet brush. Might be good. Just make sure we've got it all mixed in. Fingers crossed. Get that proper clean in a moment. Right, let's wet the brush up. We know we're going to be okay up the top there. We'll be coming towards the bottom will be the test. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's be brave and do it. can't afford to go over that too many times. Let's try that again, see if we can get that again. See if we can do that again. A little bit more if we can. Don't want to go. I've got to get it just right. Hopefully we have this time. I'm not going to push my luck with that anymore. It's a little bit more streaky than I'd like, but I don't want to overdo it either. Because if I'm concerned if I run it too many times over, I'm going to have the same issue as before. I still don't want it to have any streaks though. I'll try and do it so I'm barely touching. Barely touching. Okay, I think this time we have it. No more. No more. As long as that dries fine, we have it. As long as it dries fine. Which it should do. So we are going to leave this perfectly flat for the next 24 hours again. So what's the time today? So midday. So we are not going to touch this with a paintbrush until midday tomorrow. And hopefully it will be fine. It looks fine right now. There's not any issues. This isn't half as streaky or splotchy or looked like we were doing some weird oil base going on. So we're going to leave it. And the background looks fine again. That where the eggshell got carried in other areas has now gone. So that's okay. So yes, we are, at the moment anyway, happy. So we are going to put it over there. You can see it without the ring of light. Well, that's a good ring of light for the moon, isn't it? That's a nice glow. But anyway, I'd put that there. But this is good. We like this. So yeah. I will not touch this again till tomorrow.